Very good. Hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome to your situational English lesson here with teacher Alfredo and the students in the classroom and also the online students. Remember, this is a conversational and vocabulary lesson with the basic and intermediate levels students all together. And today we are going to talk about US history and the civil rights and many things together with teacher Alfredo. So welcome everyone, teacher, all yours.
Again, thank you, and a very good day, teacher, and to all of our students joining us. So, teacher, may I have, did we have any changes to the anyone in the classroom?
Yes, let me tell you again,
Okay.
the students who are here. We have Samuel,
Hi, Samuel.
we have Luzmila,
Hi, Luzmila.
Kenya,
Kenya.
Zoila,
Hi again, Zoila.
Erica,
Hi, Erica.
and Joanna.
Hi, Joanna.
And the online students, we have Rita. Hello, Rita. Good to see you.
Rita.
And Silvana and Silvana. I think Eliana is still listener.
Okay, so just Rita and Silvana.
Yes, sir.
Online. Okay, thank you, teacher.
No
Guys,
problem.
and again, a very, very good day to all of you, and happy Friday again. And so let's see if we can get started. And I'm going to share my screen with all of you. And we're going to try to discuss some of our vocabulary terms. So let me know if you should be able to see this in a few seconds. Okay, can everybody see that?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Excellent.
we can.
Excellent. So I believe this is divided into three different parts. Guys, so we're going to first talk a little bit about US history. US history, which is a really, really interesting topic. And I'm sure something that that most of us, we've probably read a little bit about. Guys, so let's start to look at some of our vocabulary words when we think of US history. Okay, so the first one that on our list is the 13 colonies. The 13 colonies. Those are our 13 colonies. Those were our original
13 colonies. Repeat, 13 colonies.
13 colonies.
13 colonies. And this is how basically America was started. We started with these first 13 colonies, and you probably can notice here that they're located along the eastern coast of the United States.
Eastern coast. Yeah.
So can anybody tell me one or two of the colonies?
Massachusetts, right?
Mass, very good. Teacher, Mass, of course.
New York,
New York,
Virginia, North Carolina,
Pennsylvania, Virginia, North Carolina,
North Carolina,
South Carolina,
Carolina.
Georgia,
Connecticut,
So
New
we can
Hampshire,
New Hampshire,
New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland.
so we can see here in our picture, guys, for number one, we can see the picture of the map, and we can see all of these are really states now, but for the purpose of the vocabulary, they're calling them the 13 colonies. But of course, in our world today, these are states now.
States, yeah.
So usually most of these colonies were really in what we call the Northeast.
The Northeast.
Yeah, more up in the Northeast area. So you would probably, when we think of New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, that area there is really more, and there's a lot more history there. So just to kind of point that out, guys. But so that's an interesting question, and you'll always remember that there were 13 colonies. That's how the US was started, guys. And again, if you can remember a few of the different names of the colonies, which are now states. So that was our first term here. The 13 colonies. Okay. The next term I'd like to mention on the list is number 3, Native Americans. Native Americans.
Native American.
Native American.
Native Americans. So this is sometimes also known as the American Indian. The American Indian.
Indio Americano. Native.
And you know there are many different tribes
Oh yeah, tribes.
all across America. Can anybody tell me maybe the names of one or two of famous tribes that we
Apache.
Apache,
Apache, Cheyenne.
Cheyenne? I think there's more than 100. More than
Yeah,
100, all scattered around the USA. Right? The Navajo, Seminole in Florida.
Arawaks. From here? Yeah, really? Okay. Yeah,
So-
Luz Mila knows. She's
Yeah,
studying.
I was going to ask.
She's prepared.
I was going to ask Luzmila.
She's the expert here
She can-
today.
She can answer these questions very well. I know. So that was our next word, guys. When we think, did we have another answer? Another
No,
tribe?
that's okay. That's okay, teacher. I'm sorry.
Okay. So guys, when we think of US history, we cannot overlook the Native Americans. So that's a very important part of US history. And again, the Native Americans, another term for that is really the American Indian. And as I mentioned, there's so many different tribes all across America. And I think more than 100, if I remember correctly. So it's really interesting. Okay. The next one is number 5 here is the Declaration of Independence. The Declaration of Independence. This is a
Declaration.
Declaration of
Independence.
Independence.
let's pronounce that one, guys. Declaration of Independence.
Declaration
of
of
Independence.
Very good. So this is probably the most famous document when we think of American history. The Declaration of Independence. And that really was the announcement that America wanted to be free from British rule. So, of course, when we think of independence, can anybody tell me when is Independence Day?
For July.
July the 4th.
July 4, right? July 4. July. So of course, I think everybody remembers July 4. Right in the middle of the summer. It's our holiday. It's Independence Day. It's time for barbecue and fireworks maybe in the night. So independence. And this document is probably the most important document when we think of American history. It's the Declaration of Independence. All right. And let's see. I'm trying to see if we have anything interesting. number 11, the first president, maybe we can see a picture there on the right side. Can anybody tell me who was the first president?
George Washington.
George Washington, right? And George Washington is also known as the father of our country. Kind of a name that's also given to him. The father of our country is
The
George
father of our country. Which me, I know.
Washington. So George Washington, very, very easy name to remember. First president. Can somebody tell me also something interesting about George Washington? What's another fact about something that's what about when we think of money? Yeah. Yes, it's Washington that's on the $1 bill, right?
Yeah.
If you open your currency and you have a $1 bill, you're going to see a picture of George Washington on one side. So Washington is the face on the $1 bill.
Mm-hmm.
Another interesting fact about George Washington.
Yeah.
Okay, very good, guys. So those are just some quick terms for this first little section here. The second section here, we're talking about, we have a little map of a timeline here of the different events that happened when we think of America. And so we talked a little. Does anybody remember learning a little bit about the Civil War? Can anybody tell me what was the Civil War?
North and South.
The South. This is the famous battle between the North and the South, the Civil War. And this was in the mid 1800s. The mid 1800s.
That was between the colonists and the
The
native, or
Confederates. Yeah. So in the South, they were still kind of favoring slavery, and in the North, they believed something different.
okay.
And does anybody remember who won the battle when they had this Civil War? Does anybody remember who won?
I think the North.
The North won. The North won. That's right. So just in case, guys, if you're studying and they were talking about the Civil War, maybe you also might want to remember that the North won this war.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. And of course, we also have World War II. World War II. So can anybody tell me who was America fighting during World War II?
Germany,
Very
Italy,
good.
and Japan.
Very good. The three nations.
Mm-hmm.
Germany, Italy, Japan. That's right. They were known as the evil axis. The evil axis. AXIS. When we think Hitler, Mussolini, and the Emperor of Japan, Emperor Hirohito. Hirohito.
Mm-hmm.
So just in case, guys, but of course, many movies, many books were written about World War II. And this happened between basically it was from maybe the mid 1930s. I know here they put 1941, but actually it started much earlier than that. Probably started around 1936, and it ended in 1945. All right. So those were a couple of things from way, way in the past. And then maybe something a little bit more recent is the civil rights movement. The civil rights movement. And can anybody tell me what was the civil rights movement? Any idea?
No, civil rights movement.
The civil rights, maybe
Yeah, women's rights, right? Vote.
but the civil rights movement was a little bit different.
Okay.
This was we have a holiday in January named after one very famous man.
Martin
Martin
Luther
Luther
King.
King.
Yes. So the civil rights movement was basically to give Black people more rights.
Okay.
Because they felt like they were being treated unfairly. And Martin Luther King, he was a very famous figure in this civil rights movement. And we have a holiday in January. If you guys may remember, right? Martin Luther King Day.
Monday.
I'm sorry?
January, yeah.
January. So I think in the middle of January, one of the Mondays. Yeah. So this is to honor him and this period in American history. This was the civil rights movement. And again, this was probably from the 1950s to early 1970s. Yes. All right. So just that was a little timeline. Let's go on to our next part. And now we have government and military service. So here is maybe now we're talking about things related to Washington, D.C. Washington. So of course, Washington, D.C. is our nation's capital. And we have many, many different terms here. Yeah, so the first one, number one, is the U.S. Capitol. The U.S. Capitol.
U.S. Capitol.
So this is also known as the Capitol building, but sometimes they just call it the U.S. Capitol, but this is really the Capitol building. And sometimes it's also called Capitol Hill. You might hear some news people, they say, what happened on the Hill today? And they really mean Capitol Hill. Can anybody tell me, there are two major groups that are inside the U.S. Capitol?
Democrats and Republicans.
No.
Luzmila, did you remember?
Repeat the question.
When the U.S. Capitol, what two groups are inside the U.S. Capitol?
No, that's political party.
Look at number 3 and look at number 5.
No Spanish, no in Spanish. Yeah, the congressman, the Congress, and the Senate.
So within the Capitol building, we can find the House of Representatives and the Senate.
The Senate.
And the Senate. Guys, so that's another interesting term. So when we go to Washington, D.C., and the House of Representatives and the Senate, that's Congress. Okay, so again, that's term number 2. So just again, a little bit of history here. Guys, if you ever,
I understand.
I'm sorry, you had a question, Silvana?
No.
Okay. So if you guys, has anybody visited Washington, D.C.?
Yes, I have been there.
You have,
It's
teacher?
Such a beautiful city. Beautiful city. It's very nice.
So much, there's a lot of history there. So if you go to Washington, D.C., maybe another place that will be on your list is number 7.
The White
White
House.
House. The White House. So who lives inside the White House?
Me.
El Presidente. So of course, guys, it's the president, right? And now the president is Joe Biden. So sometimes they have tours of the White House, and you might be able to go inside. I'm not sure if they still have the tours because of security reasons, but
Not anymore.
not anymore,
inside the
teacher?
house. No.
Yeah.
Right.
remember
You're able to walk around.
Just on
That's
the
it.
outside.
Outside.
Yeah. I many years ago, you could go inside when times were, way before 9/11. You could go
Yeah.
inside, and sometimes the president would be there, and he'd wave to you.
Yeah.
Such a
wave to you.
different time.
Different times. Not
Yeah, right?
anymore.
Not anymore. So we know that Biden is the president. Can anybody tell me who's the vice president?
Who is the vice president?
Number 9. Who's the vice president now?
Kamala.
Kamala Harris.
Kamala or Kamala?
Is it Kamala?
How do you say? Kamala.
Kamala?
Kamala. Okay.
Kamala Harris?
Kamala Harris.
Although maybe I'm incorrect, but that's kind of what I would say. Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris.
So a lot of
That's it.
history. She's the first woman who was vice president. So, okay. So these were some really interesting terms, guys. We have the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court, the highest court in the land. The highest court in the land is what we call the Supreme Court. And maybe Luzmila, can you tell me who's the Chief Justice now? Who's the Chief Justice?
John Roberts.
John Roberts. John
Wow.
Roberts.
Oh my God.
She's ready.
Yeah. She's ready.
Number 13. Number 13, guys, is Chief Justice. So the Chief Justice is basically the leader of the Supreme Court. And right now it's John Roberts. So these are some names that we might not hear all the time. But John Roberts.
Democrat or Republican?
That's a good question. Usually the justices, they're appointed by the president.
Yeah.
So sometimes whoever I forgot who put him in his position.
I think it was Trump.
No, I think it was before Trump.
Before Trump?
Yeah, Trump put in the woman.
Who was the one who died? Because there was one who died.
Ginsburg.
Yeah.
Ruth Ginsburg. Yeah. Yeah, she was
So-
a Democrat.
Yeah, she was a Democrat.
She was a Democrat. Really, really respected lady. But
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, so this is the Supreme Court, and the Chief Justice is kind of the senior member. And right now, the senior member of the Supreme Court is John Roberts. Yes,
They
okay,
have a lot of power.
a lot.
Supreme
They're
Court.
elected for life.
Power.
So this is a unique position. This is for life.
Yeah,
It's not 4 years, 6 years. It's for life
for life until they die. Hasta que se
until they
mueran.
die. Until they die.
It's a very, very conservative position.
Right. They
Como un
have a lot of
papado.
power. To-
Mhm.
Okay, guys. So these were some interesting terms. And then I think when we think of the military, is that usually in the US, there are 4 major branches. I know we see 6 in the picture here, but there really are 4. Can anybody tell me what the 4 are? Yeah.
Marines, the same Marines.
Those are the 4. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines.
A Marine.
Those are what most people consider the 4 major branches of the military. Guys, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. The other 2, they list Coast Guard and National Guard, but most people don't think of those 2. The 4 major branches are, again, what we just said: Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. So does anybody have any relatives or anybody that you know who's in the military?
Anybody that you know
No.
in the military? No?
Nobody? Okay. All right. Sometimes it's a popular, a lot of people we use the word enlist. Enlist is like join. A lot of people want to join the military. So, okay. Very good, guys. So that was our second part. Excuse me. Now we have our civic rights and responsibilities. So again, this is really very, very interesting. So we have basic rights here that many, many Americans would be responsible for. So in some cases, you would have to be a US citizen to take advantage of some of these rights. Yeah, so the first is letter A, is to vote. To vote. So I believe you have to be a US citizen in order to vote. What do we do every April 15th?
Before April 15th.
Or before April 15th? Yeah.
Before
Pay tax.
Pay
Pay
tax.
Pay taxes, right? Pay taxes. The deadline, most people know the deadline is April 15th.
Yeah.
So if you're
Oh.
paying, you have to pay by April 15th. If you're getting money back, a lot of people, they file their return early because they know they're getting money back. But if you're paying, a lot of people, they wait right until the deadline to pay. So these are two responsibilities of, I believe, of US citizens, guys, is to vote and pay taxes. So, okay, another term here, guys, and this is also in our conversation, is letter E. Letter E is to serve on a jury.
Yeah.
Serve on a jury. So this is also known as jury duty. Serve on a jury, and this means that you are going to serve on a jury in a court of law. In a court of law. So this is another responsibility for US citizens. You might, after you become a citizen, or if you're a citizen, you might get a little card in the mail. and they'll tell you, you have to report to jury duty in 2 weeks. And so it might be some, has anybody had any experience with jury duty?
No.
Not yet. Okay. Maybe later you guys will.
But do you have to be an American citizen for that? Or
I believe so, teacher. Yeah. Yeah. For that, I think I think from my understanding, yes. So after if you're a citizen, or after you become a citizen, now your name is on the list. And they're going to send you they might send you a little notice and say, hey, you have to report to jury duty in the 2 weeks. So that's this term here, letter E, is to serve on a jury. So these are some interesting responsibilities. That's all right. And what are the requirements to become a citizen? What are the requirements to become a citizen? So there are 3. And we can see them here in the pictures. So letter G, you have to be at least 18 years or older. At least 18 or older. Letter H, you have to have lived in the US for 5 years. A minimum of 5 years or more. And the last one is letter I, is of course, you have to take the citizenship test.
citizenship test?
Citizenship test. So I think we've had several students that have taken the test before, and we have some, I think, that are taking them soon.
Yes.
So again, this is a very, very important time, and it's a great after you pass, it's a time for celebration. That's so okay. So those are the 3 requirements to become a US citizen. All right. And the last part here is when we think about our rights. Our rights. So that's can anybody tell me what are two important rights that all Americans have?
Wow, number 3 is important.
Yes, number 3 is important, and maybe number 2 is important.
The free speech. Free speech. Yeah, the free speech is important. The freedom of religion.
I think 2 and 3. 2 and 3. I think that's a question on the exam.
Yeah.
Right, Luzmila?
Right.
So they might, I believe they say, what are 2 rights? Can you name 2 rights? That every
Can you name 2 rights?
2.
Freedom of religion
And freedom of speech. Those are the easy ones to remember. There's some other ones here, like number 1, peaceful assembly. That's basically you have the right to protest. You can march in the street, you can demonstrate. No one's going to suddenly throw you into jail like they would in Russia or China, maybe. Number 4, freedom of the press. So basically the press, they can mostly say almost anything they want, and they can criticize leaders, and we see it all the time. So that's another nice one there. And number 5 is you have the right to a fair trial. Number 5 is a fair trial. Okay, so if ever you have to go to court, the process, fair
Fair
trial.
trial. Fair trial.
Fair trial. So these are our basic rights as
You are
Americans.
innocent. You are innocent
Yes.
until they prove you're guilty.
Very nice, teacher. You know, did you guys, if ever you go to a court, sometimes you see a statue outside the court, and there's a picture of a woman, and she has a blindfold over her eye, right?
Yeah.
And then there are the scales. She's holding 2 scales. And there's an expression, and they say justice is blind.
Mhm.
Justice is blind. It means that it's fair. So no matter if you're rich or you're poor, technically you have a fair chance. So you'll see that statue sometimes outside. It's a statue of a woman, and there's a blindfold over her eyes, and something that's written in Latin, I think, but it really is justice is blind. Okay, guys, so those are our 5 rights that we can see here in the picture. Guys, so those were our vocabulary terms for today. Guys, were there any questions?
Any questions?
Yeah. I have a question. The note
Sure.
only, all males, 18 to 26 who live in US are required to register with the selective
Service. Yeah.
service.
Right. That's right. I think there was another term here. Maybe I didn't catch.
It's on the end, teacher. It's the first page.
Yeah,
The
letter
end.
D. There it is. I see it. Register with selective service. Letter D. Right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Is it mandatory, teacher?
It's not mandatory.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it's mandatory anymore. During the time of war, it was mandatory.
Oh, okay. During a war, it's mandatory.
Yeah, that before they called it a draft. You'd be drafted. You'd be drafted, and you have to go. But now we live in a different world, so most people, they don't really think about the military anymore. So yeah.
Perfect.
So anyway, guys, those were our terms. And if we don't have any questions, maybe we'll move on to our scripts now.
Yes, sir. Let's go to the conversation practice.
Sure.
2 small conversations, okay?
So let's see here. Would you like me to post the scripts, teacher?
Please. Yes, teacher.
Okay. Maybe we could go over them also together. So here's the basic level script. You should be able to see this in a few seconds.
Okay.
So
Maybe you and me, we can do it, teacher, and then
sure, teacher. Would you like to start?
yeah.
Okay.
Wow, teacher Alfredo, I can't believe we are now in Washington, D.C.
Yes, teacher. I am so excited. What places do you really want to visit?
Well, of course, the White House is at the top of my list.
We may even get to see the president.
I'm also looking forward to visiting the Capitol building.
Me too. Do you know that it is the home of Congress?
Right. Congress is made up of both the Senate and the House of Representatives.
Do you know who is one of our state senators?
Of course. Yes, I suppose. Ted Cruz is one of the current senators from Texas.
That's correct.
The United States is such a great country. We're so lucky to be living here, teacher.
I agree, teacher. We are very grateful to the founders of our nation.
Very good.
So this was our script for the basic level, guys. And again, this is something that you don't have to follow it exactly. You could change it a little bit, but I included some of the vocabulary. You can see I put it in the bold print because this was our vocabulary from our list here. Okay. So should we have some of the students start with the basic level?
Yeah, but they can read it, teacher, because it's they better read it.
Okay, I can leave it on the screen, teacher.
Okay,
So-
let's begin with Rita and Silvana.
Wow, I can't believe we are now in Washington, D.C.
Yes, I am so excited. What place do you really want to visit?
Well, of course, the
Stop,
White
stop, stop, stop. Teacher, can you correct what places do you, when
What-
they make a mistake, please?
Sure, teacher. So, yes, I am so excited. What places do you really want to visit?
Again, please, Silvana, can you say it again?
Okay, yes, I am so excited. What place do
Excited.
you really want? Excited. What place do you really want to visit?
Well,
Places,
Places.
plural, yeah.
of course, the White House is at the top of my list.
Ha, we may even get to see the president.
I am also looking forward to visit the Capitol building.
Visiting.
Me too.
Right.
Visit. Me too. Did you know that is the home of Congress?
That it is.
That it is.
It is.
It is the home of Congress.
Right. Congress is made up of both the Senate and the sorry. Right. Congress is made up of both of Senate and
Of
the
both
House, both the Senate and the House of Representatives.
Do you know who is one of our state senators?
Yes, Ted is one of the current senators from Texas.
That's correct.
The United States is such a great country. We are so lucky to be living here.
I agree. We are very grateful to the founders of our nation.
To the.
To the founders of our nation.
Very good.
Very good.
Okay, Erica, Joanna, can you read?
Wow, I can't believe we are now in Washington, D.C.
Yes, I am so excited. What place do you
What
really-
places?
places do you really want to visit?
To visit, it's a
Visit.
question, remember.
To
It's a
visit?
visit.
Well, of course, the White House is at the top of my list.
We may even get to see the president.
I am also looking forward to visiting the
Visiting.
Capitol,
Building.
visiting the Capitol building.
Me too. Did you know that it is the home
Of Congress.
Of Congress.
Right. Congress is made up of both the Senate and the House of Representatives.
Senate. Senate.
Do you
Senate.
know how is one of our state
Senators.
senators?
Yes, Ted Cruz is one of the current senator,
Current.
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 senator from Texas.
That's correct.
That's correct.
The United States is so a great country.
Great.
We are great.
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 We are so lucky to be living here.
I agree. We are very grateful to the four
To the founders
founders
of our nation. Very nice, very good.
Well
We
done.
finished with Lila and Samuel.
Okay. Wow, I can't believe we are now in Washington, D.C.
Yes, I am so excited. One place do you really want to visit?
Mhm.
Well,
Very good.
of course, White House is at the top of my list.
We may even get to see the president.
I am also looking forward to visiting the Capitol building.
Me too. Did you know that it is the home of Congress?
Right, Congress is made of both the Senate and
The Senate.
the Senate
Senate.
Senate.
and the House of Representatives.
Representatives, right?
Representative.
Do you know who is one of the state senators?
Yes, Ted Cruz is one of the current senators from Texas.
That's correct.
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 The United States is such a great country. We are so lucky to be living here.
I agree. We grateful to be founded of or not.
Our nation.
Nation.
Oh, nation.
Of our nation.
Nation. We are very grateful to the founders of our nation.
To be founded of our nation.
Good. Very good, guys.
Very good, teacher.
Thank you.
I think this conversation is quite difficult for them to memorize at this moment. So I think they already practiced the pronunciation and that's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's too hard, too difficult.
It might be a little okay. How about the intermediate level?
Yeah, you can go to intermediate level conversation and practice the pronunciation.
Okay, let me see if I can.
They can repeat after you, teacher, and that's it. We finish.
Right. Let me see if. So if once, well, maybe this will come up in a second, teacher. Okay. And did you want to read this one together?
No, you read it, teacher. They repeat
Okay.
after you.
All right. Okay, so here we have a situation with two students are preparing for an exam on civil rights and responsibilities. Guys, so I'll read each line, and then if everybody could repeat the line once I'm finished. Okay, so let's start. Hi, let's prepare for our exam by asking each other questions.
Hi,
Let's prepare for
for our exam
exam
by asking each other
each
questions.
other question.
Good. Sure, I think this would be a good way to practice.
Sure.
I think this will be a good way to practice.
Very good. What are two responsibilities of U.S. citizens?
What are two responsibilities of U.S. citizens?
To vote and pay taxes.
To vote and pay taxes.
What are the requirements to become a U.S. citizen?
What are the requirements to become a requirement to become a U.S. citizen?
U.S. citizen.
Requirements. Requirements.
The requirements to become a U.S. citizen.
U.S. citizen. You must be 18 or older, lived in the U.S.
I'm sorry.
Oh, excuse me.
You must be 18
or older.
Lived in the U.S. for 5 years or more.
Lived
in the U.S. for 5 years or more.
And take a citizenship test.
And take a citizenship test.
What are two rights that people who live in the U.S. have?
What are the people who live in the U.S. have?
The right to free speech and the right to freedom of religion.
The right
to free speech and the right to freedom of religion.
What does the term jury duty mean?
What does the term jury duty mean?
This refers to serving on a jury in a court of law.
This
refers to serving on a jury in a court of law.
I think that we are ready for the exam.
I think that we are ready for the exam.
Yes, I feel confident that we will both do very well.
Yes, I feel confident that we will both do very well.
Very good, guys. That was our script for the intermediate level.
Very nice, teacher. Thank you so much. Can you stop the recording, please?
Oh, yes. Let me